All right, we are going to record this in case we need it. So again, welcome to everybody, and we are so glad that you're here, and we're really proud of you for taking this first step. And getting on this call is really the first way to get you to that success that you're looking for. So what I'm hoping you will do at this point in time, hopefully you've all received your boxes and you have opened them up and you're getting ready to start tomorrow morning, and you've had an opportunity to connect with your coach to let them know that you're getting ready to go. So we're going to walk through the Optavia 5-in-1 Lean and Green Guide. Now, I'm hoping that most of you are on the 5-in-1. Some of you may be on different plans, but the basics of the Lean and Green are about the same. So if you are on different plans, make sure that you connect with your coach about what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to walk through the Lean and Green Guide. Also, this is an open forum, so if you have questions, pop off, mute, and just holler at me when you need to. So a lean and green meal, what you should know is that the lean and green meal includes 5 to 7 ounces of cooked lean protein. I want to iterate cooked. So make sure that you are cooking that protein before you are weighing it. And then there's additional 3 servings of non-starchy vegetables and 2 healthy servings of fat, depending on what that lean protein is. And we'll talk about that in a second. So you're going to pick, proteins that are grilled, baked, broiled, poached. As much as we love some fried food, we're going to stay away from fried food for a while here. And then they really recommend that you do 2 servings of fish a week for those omega-3 fatty acids. If you're not a fish fan, that's fine. It'll be totally okay. But that is something that they recommend. And then the other great thing too is that if you like a vegetarian protein, like tofu or tempeh, or even some of those like, Boca burgers or Impossible burgers, those are all welcome as well. You know what, will somebody give me a nod that they can see this lean and green guide right now? Thank you, Lisa, appreciate you. All right, so let's talk about this. So the lean and greens come in a couple of different ways. So in the leans, there is the leanest option, there's a leaner option, and a lean option. They're all kind of redundant. It gets a little confusing, but those leanest options, you're going to be looking at those, fish options, shellfish, those game meats. So those of you who might have, hunter husbands, that deer meat, the venison meat is really fantastic for that. And then your ground meat, that's 98% lean. You can also use those meatless options, 14 egg whites. I'm telling you, if you were hungry one day, you make yourself an egg white omelet with 14 egg whites, you are not going to be hungry. It is a ton of food. And then cottage cheese is also a really great option for you too. Those leaner options, you're going to be looking at some of those little bit of a fattier fish, the swordfish, the trout, the halibut. I would say a majority of my clients who have been on this program love the chicken breast without skin. So 6 ounces, you just remember that 6 ounces for your chicken. If you're going to throw it in the oven and roast it, or if you're going to throw it on the grill, that 6 ounces of chicken is going to be a pretty regular go-to. And then you're looking at the leans. Those are going to be, again, those even fattier fishes. So salmon, those blue tuna steaks, farmed catfish. That's when you're going to, if you're in the mood for a steak, that's where a steak's going to come into, or a hamburger. You're going to do a 5-ounce portion of those things. So when we were talking about the lean and greens, and I'm going to scroll back just a little bit. If you have that leanest portion, you're going to get 7 ounces of that cooked protein and 2 healthy fats, because cod and flounder and venison and shrimp, they don't have natural fats in them, and your body actually needs those fats to absorb all the nutrients that you're getting in for the day and for everything to process. So no matter what you're doing, make sure you're not skipping those healthy fats. So if you choose that leanest option, that 7-ounce option, you're going to be adding 2 healthy fats. If you choose that leaner option, that 6-ounce portion, you're going to be choosing 1 healthy fat. And I'll talk about what the healthy fats are in a second. And then if you're choosing that 5-ounce portion, that's where your steak, your burger, your salmon, those things are coming in. You do not need to add a healthy fat for the day. Those have enough fat in them already as is, and your body will be able to absorb everything that you're doing. So what is a healthy fat? A healthy fat is an oil of any kind. So olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, avocado oil, whatever you want to choose, go ahead and go for it. I love this, the tablespoon of regular low carbohydrate salad dressing. I mean, I could drink ranch dressing. I don't know about the rest of you. And I know that probably grosses some people out. But this is where, the little bit of that ranch dressing really goes a long way on that salad for me. Those 2 tablespoons of reduced fat, low carbohydrate dressing, olives, avocado, nuts. Be careful with the nuts. They're fantastic for fats. They're also super high in calories, so you can have them. Just be careful that you're watching your portion control. And then, you know, a little bit of butter, margarine, mayonnaise, those things when you're having those lighter or those leanest options. Then let's talk about what the green looks like. Actually, before I go on, is there any questions? And there will probably be tons of questions about lean and greens. But make sure you're connecting with your coach and make sure that you're looking at the lean and green. Jody just shared a link with a bunch of different additional links that talk about condiments, healthy fats, lean and greens, and so on and so forth. So make sure that you're referencing those more often than that booklet you got is fantastic. It's just missing, it's just an overview, but there's a lot more details that you can go to it. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions about the lean part of the lean and greens? All right, let's talk about the green. So one thing to remember is that the green doesn't have to be green. Green can be a tomato, green can be a cauliflower, green can be a mushroom. It doesn't have to be green in color, but you really are going to want to stay away from those starchy vegetables. So you're going to want to stay away from Brussels sprouts, you're going to stay away from corn, you're going to want to stay away from beans, peas, some of the squashes that are higher in sugars, you're really going to want to stay away from that. And then again, in the chat there, Jody shared the condiment list. That's going to be a deeper dive into the vegetable conversion chart is what I'm trying to talk about. That will talk to you about all the vegetables and where they fall in the categories. And so there's a couple of different categories, but what I will tell you is, as far as like a general fast rule, is that if it is a leafy green, per serving, you will get a cup of that leafy green. So if you're going to have a salad with just lettuce and the protein that you're going to have for tonight and some of that healthy fat, you're going to do 3 cups of that lettuce. If it's a hard vegetable, let's say green beans or broccoli or cauliflower, something along those lines, you're going to stick towards that 1/2 cup measurement. As I talk about that, I talk about measuring in cups. That's an easy way to do it. But what I can also tell you is in that vegetable conversion chart, there is also the weights that you can measure out in grams or ounces for each of those vegetables. And I highly recommend doing that because you'll actually get some more of those vegetables than if you do trying to cram it in a cup. I'm thinking about broccoli in a cup. There's going to be a whole bunch of air pockets in there that you probably end up getting a little bit less of that broccoli than you could actually have for your meal. So weighing them, I definitely highly recommend. But if you're on the go and you are trying to decide what you do, 1/2 cup for leafy or a full cup for leafy greens and 1/2 cup for hard veggies. And then there's a couple of different options. There's the lower carbohydrate vegetables, moderate carbohydrate vegetables, and higher carbohydrate, going too fast, higher carbohydrate vegetables. What I can tell you is that I lost 55 pounds in 5 weeks, mixing these up all around. If you want to lose a little bit faster, you're going to stick to those lower carbohydrate vegetables. Anybody have any questions about the veggies side of things? The green side of things?
No questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for whoever said that. I can't see everybody, so I appreciate the voice. Okay, so that's the basics of the lean and green. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Make sure you're using your guide. If you have a question about something, make sure that you're looking at your guide. The hard and fast rule is if it's not in the guide, it is not on plan. So we're not going to try to be making things up as we can go. But however, if you have something you're not quite sure of, make sure you reach out to your coach because they know what that's all about. Let's see what we want to talk about next. Okay, so you've mastered the lean and green. We're calling that for you. I highly recommend that you actually take pictures of your lean and greens the first week and send them to your coach. They'll be able to help you troubleshoot if you're on target or if you're not on target. You're not going to be perfect the first week or the first couple of weeks. I've been coaching for a year and sometimes I learn new things, but you know, the best you can do is to connect with your coach. All right, so you've mastered the lean and green. So what else does a program entail? So the first part is you're really going to want to be eating every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day. That's really going to be highlighting your metabolism. And what you're going to want to do is a half hour after you wake up, you're going to want to start those fuelings. And then every 2 to 3 hours after that, depending on what your day looks like, you are going to be having a fueling and or a lean and green throughout the day. So 5 fuelings for those of you who are in the 5 and 1, 5 fuelings every 2 to 3 hours, and 1 lean and green a day. That will get you through the day. There is also an opportunity to add some optional snacks. And I share those with you because as you get started, don't forget that your stomach's probably been stretched. You've been eating what you've been enjoying, and it's just great. But you might find some moments where you are hungry during the day. And when that happens, there are a handful of opportunities for optional snacks. So that's where a pickle, cucumber, celery, sugarless gum, sugar-free Jell-O, something along those lines. There is a list in your guide that talks about what those optional snacks are. We are always going to be appreciative of the fact that, if someday you are just, day 2 or 3 or 4, you are just starving and you're ready to go eat the cupcakes or the Cheetos or whatever your vice is, and you want to have 2 or 3 pickles, we'd rather you do that than go off track. So utilize those. Pickles seem to be somebody's, everybody's favorite. They're crunchy, they're salty, they're delicious, they're fresh. So buy yourself a big old jar of pickles and use those as you need. But when we're talking about that every 2 to 3 hours, I want to share that there's a great app on your phone that you can get called EatWise, EATWISE. And what it does is it'll set alarms every, you can set it to set every 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours. It's really great because when you have your first meal, you push go, and then it calculates out, depending on what you choose, as far as the spacing of your meals, what the next time it is for you to eat, and it'll send you a reminder that it's time to eat. So lots of us aren't used to eating every day, 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours. So especially as you get started, you're going to want that that alarm to go off. Any questions so far from anybody about that? All right. The other big partner with you on this program is water.
Sorry, Melissa, quick question.
Yep.
On the little cheat snacks, like
Yep.
the pickles and the cucumbers, what's the quantity of the cucumbers? Is there a weight? Is it like an
I believe they say it's 2 pickle spears, and so I would equate that to cucumbers as well. That's what what it would be for the day. But again, I'm not trying to tell you to break program already, but I probably am. If it means you're going to have 3 pickle spears as opposed to go to something else, I think you're going to probably be okay.
Got it.
But that is, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks. Great question. And those that list is in your guide as well. So your other partner, water. It is really important that you get that water every day. We say that we want a minimum of 64 ounces of water a day, but ideally we really want you to be working to half your body weight in ounces a day of water. So if you're a 300-pound person, we want you to be getting 150 ounces of water a day. I will share a couple of tricks. If you have a gallon of water and you fill it up at the beginning of the day, that's 128 ounces of water. You can go ahead and then disperse that to yourself throughout the day. And if you finish that gallon by the end of the day, you know that you've had plenty. There is another trick as well, that if you are a standard bottle of water, like, an Ice Mountain or whatever, has 16.9 ounces in it. And if you have a bottle of that water at every fueling and at your lean and green, so 6 times a day, you're going to be at 102 ounces of water for the day. So if you can space it out that way, it's really wonderful. Water will not only help you with your digestion, but it'll also keep you full, and it'll also keep you hydrated. So make sure that water is an absolute part of what you're doing. That water bottle, or whatever water bottle you've chosen, or should be basically attached to your body as you go through this program. It's a huge difference. And I will tell you, as I've coached hundreds of people at this point in time, the times that people slow down, or the times that people are having a hard time, or the times that people are really hungry, is when they haven't had their water for the day. So I'm just reiterating how important it is for you to have that water. All right. The other thing that we walk through in this first week is that there are a handful of side effects that people experience. Nothing to go to the hospital about, nothing to worry about. But the couple of things that I want to share is that there's a potential you'll get a headache. So again, that water intake is going to be huge. And then if you're a person who loves caffeine, or tea, or those kind of things, you keep that. Please keep that up. I mean, we're going to want to pull some of that sugar and creamer out of your coffee, but you're going to want to not just don't go cold turkey on those things that first day. And don't forget, you're changing what you're putting into your body, and your body's been used to a ton of sugar likely, and that's going to affect what happens kind of in your head as well. I haven't had anybody had a headache more than a 1 day. So if you make it through, you know that you're on the next step. The other thing is diarrhea or constipation. Again, we're cleaning out your gut. We don't know what you've been putting in there. Sometimes I don't. You probably don't even know what you've been putting in there, and you're going to be putting a whole bunch of new proteins and probiotics and fiber into your diet. So there's a likelihood that you might be spending a little bit more time on the toilet. You're not going to need a diaper. It's not going to be that bad. You might have some gas. It's really unpleasant, but just think about it as, cleaning out your system, and know that that could be a part of things. There is also an opportunity. It seems to be like one way or the other. You either have the loose option or you have the tight option. And if you do end up having something like constipation, know that you can take some like Miralax or something along those lines. But please make sure that you reach out to your coach first before you start to do any of that, because there is, like I said, the probiotics and fiber that are already in the fuelings that we want to make sure that we are balancing that as best so your body can be as efficient as possible. Once in a while, some folks will experience some leg cramps. If that's the case, you can have a potassium tablet or add some Powerade Zero to your routine. That'll help to just increase that the potassium that you need and get those electrolytes back into your body. And then sometimes people will have some stomach bloating, gas, and cramps. We already talked about the gas a little bit. So those are the basics of what we've seen generally with side effects. If you have something else that is not on this list that I mentioned to you, I have, again, coached hundreds of people. I've never had any real issues with anybody having anything else but those. But if you do, make sure you reach out to your coach, because there might be some things to change. So don't just give up if you experience any of these side effects. Any questions on side effects? Okie dokie. So I wanted to, you know what? I need to go back just a second because I forgot to share something with you all. I'm going back to Lean and Greens, way back, all the way back. There is an amazing website, and hopefully your coaches sent this information to you, and the links again are in the chat right now. But there is a woman who makes amazing food, and her name is Sandy, and she has Sandy's Kitchen. And I want to share just that website with you really quickly. Somebody, can you see my screen, anybody? Okay. So Sandy's Kitchen is fantastic. Sandy has figured out how to make lean and green meals delicious and different and with a ton of variety. So again, in that list, the link will be there. But if you're interested in making something with Sandy's, you go ahead and look at this lean and green drop down list. And let's say we're in the mood for, we know it's going to be a long day. So we want to do a crock pot meal. You go on crock pots and you scroll down and you said, you know what sounds really good? Italian chicken in the crock pot. You pop that open. And Sandy's is so fantastic. She tells you her story like they do in all the recipes. Like sometimes, don't you just want to get the recipe? But the greatest thing about Sandy's Kitchen is that she talks to you about how much to put in each dish. And then she talks to you about how much is in each. So this is going to make, this is going to make 3 servings of leaner meat. So this is going to be a meal. You're not going to eat the whole thing. You're going to have to portion it out. But then she also talks about, how many healthy fats are in there and how many condiments. So if you're looking at this list right now, you can see that there's 3 leaner leans, there's 3 healthy fats and 1 condiment, which is fantastic. But what this is missing is a whole bunch of greens. So you got to do the math. This is the only difficult part with the lean and greens, is doing the math to make sure that as you split this up, you would have 1/3 of the portion of this. So it would also ultimately be 1 leaner, 1 healthy fat, and 1/3 of a condiment, which means that you still have a couple more condiments that you could use for that. And you're also missing all of your greens. So you could throw this on with a side of broccoli, as she does in the picture here, and you are complete for the day. It was really great because you don't have to think about building your recipes when you're looking at Sandy's. She does have a couple of casseroles and such like that. In this instance, even with this crock pot chicken, that it's more than 1 serving. So just make sure that you're being very conscious of that serving size when you are portioning it out to yourself. All right. Lisa said that the links are not working, Jody. So we can try to send those again.
Yeah, when I click on the link, it just says it's an invaluable, or unavailable, holy moly, an unavailable link or, you know,
Okay.
open page or whatever.
All right, Kristen said they worked for her. Lisa, may I ask who your coach is?
Yes, it is, gross.
Kelly?
Not gross. Sorry, hold on. It's Teresa, Wilbur.
Teresa Wilbur. Okay, has she sent you these links yet?
I don't know, what are the links?
That's the lean and green guide, the condiment guide, the vegetarian conversion chart. Okay, we'll get them. We'll figure out how to get them to you.
Okay.
Jody, can I have you? Lisa, are you? I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody else. Are you in the Weight Loss Wonders group?
Yes.
I will tag you in that. Just tell me your your last name so I can.
It's under Romus Minor, but it's MINOR.
Okay, great. I will make sure to get that to you in just a second. So thank you for sharing that with me. Okay, so we talked about lean and green. We talked about Sandy's Kitchen. We talked about side effects. The other thing that I want to share with you all is that don't forget that, you know, your body is used to full salt, full sugar, full fat, and which means that your taste buds are expecting that as well. So when you go through your feelings, there are going to be some that you love. There are going to be some that are like, all right, this is fine. I can tolerate this. And there are going to be some that you'd be like, wow, tastes like cardboard. I hate this. And you know what I can tell you is that your taste buds will absolutely change. So continue to enjoy those feelings that you like. And then those ones that, you know, you weren't quite fond of, give them a try again in another, 10 days, another week. Your taste buds will change. And remember that the feelings that we're using are a tool to get us where we want to be, not just to, not because we want, we're not, we're changing habits. And so these are the tools that we need to have us to do that. Again, and then there's other things too as well. There are certain little tweaks that we as coaches have learned with some of the feelings. So if you find something you don't love, please reach out to your coach and ask them like, hey, do you know what we could do to make this taste a little bit better? Or do you know if there's anything to help make the noodles softer in the macaroni and cheese? Just saying, that's something you might experience. So make sure that you do that. All right, so first day. It's coming up tomorrow morning. Here's what you need to know, and here's what you need to do. When you get up in the morning, you are going to go to the bathroom, make sure to clear your bowels, and then you're going to hop on your scale stark naked in your birthday suit, and you are going to send your coach your beginning weight. And then you're also going to make sure that you take measurements. For most women, it's going to be measurements of around your arms, your bicep, your biggest part of your arms, around your chest, around your waist, around your hips, and around your thighs. Most men generally do, if I'm correct, and Jody, you can correct me if I'm wrong, around the chest and midsection. And then you're going to want to send those measurements to your coach. I also highly, highly, highly recommend that you take a picture of yourself. That picture can stay with you for the rest of your life. It never has to be shown to anybody else. But what I can tell you is your body is going to transform. And you won't see it the same way that other people will see it until you see a picture, a side-by-side picture of yourself. It's an incredibly valuable tool. And there will be weeks where you feel like maybe the scale isn't moving the same way you want it to be moving, or maybe you've had a hiccup, or maybe, you've had a celebration and you've gone off plan and you're not quite feeling so strong about yourself. That's when those pictures come in handy amazingly. So you're going to want to make sure that you take those before pictures, and you're going to want to document those every week as well. And then just remember that the keys to success on this program are to make sure that you're connecting with your coach. That is the biggest tool that you have available to you. Good, bad, ugly, you're succeeding, you're failing, you're nervous, you're unsure, reach out to your coach. That's what we're here for. That's why you did this. The support groups, we have the Weight Loss Wonders women's support group, and we have the, I'm not in it, so I'm blanking. Weight Loss Warriors men's group. That's really important for you to be a part of and be active in. You're going to share recipes, you're going to share support, you're going to ask questions in those groups that will lead you to success as well. And then making sure that you check in with your coach every Monday. Again, good, bad, or ugly, make sure that you are checking in. We are investing ourselves in you and your successes, and we made promises to you to support you along the way. And if you ghost us, that's not going to help anybody succeed. So your partner is your coach along the line on this. Let me see if there's anything else before we open up for Q&A. Oh, last thing. When you're through next week, you're going to do 7 days on this program, and then you're going to reach out to your coach and you're going to share your amazing results. And then be prepared, because your coach is going to want to do a celebration call with you. So they're going to pop on, they're going to get you on a Zoom. Big mosquito in front of my face, sorry. And they are going to want to celebrate you and give you the kudos you deserve for the hard work you put in for the week, but also share tips for the upcoming weeks and what you should expect. So you should be planning for that 7-day call, and your coach will reach out to you for that as well. Jody, before I do Q&A, am I missing anything?
I think good.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and open up for questions. Any questions you have are totally appropriate questions. So lay it on me.
When we do the measurements for the thighs, do you just one thigh or both thighs together? Like, what do you do for the measurement on the thigh?
Pick a thigh.
Okay.
Pick a thigh, any thigh.
Okay. All right. And then I was looking at some of the recipes, and one of, quite a few of them call for, hold on, sorry, I had it written down, a spreadable cheese or spreadable.
Laughing cow, maybe?
Is that what it is? I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was asking me for. It said spreadable cheese wedge.
Yes. So that would be the laughing cow.
Okay.
Reduced fat, I think it is.
Okay.
For that. Yep. Great question. Good research.
It's Liz and Derek.
Go for it.
We downloaded the Optavia app,
Mhm.
and it looks like it has some pretty, well, at least the pictures look like they're amazing lean and green options. And
Oh, yeah.
we had found a pork taco tostadas,
Mhm.
and I guess we were under the impression that we were not supposed to be having dairy, and it says here 8-ounce reduced fat shredded cheddar cheese. Is this is okay if it's in the app, assuming it's okay to use?
Absolutely, if it's an app. And I should say that the Optavia app, they just, like, probably in the last 3 months dropped a bunch of recipes in there, and they're fantastic. And dairy is absolutely a part of this program, Derek. That's something that you want to make sure that you are including in your day. So cheeses are welcome, milks are welcome. Make sure you're checking out that condiment guide, though, in those links to figure out what those portions look like. But that is, yeah, that's definitely a part of things. Unless you have a lactose issue, dairy can be included.
Okay, so dairy is in the condiment list. Oh, there it is. All right.
And Melissa, can I add something here?
Absolutely.
So on the Optavia app, the recipes, if you're cooking for fewer than 4 people, you can adjust the number of servings on the Optavia app for the recipe, and it will change the amounts in the recipe. But please be aware that when you go to the instructions, it doesn't change anything in the instructions when you change the servings. So make sure that so if it says use a 1/4 cup of cheese in the recipe, the instructions might say to use to put a 1/2 cup of cheese in, because that doesn't transfer from the recipe to the instructions. So always stick with the recipe for the amounts, but the instructions just, adjust accordingly.
Good info. I didn't know that. Thanks, Jody.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
So can I ask one more question? I'm sorry, but
You can ask 7 more.
I'm looking at the app, and mine I don't know where to find the condiment section.
Jody, I'm throwing it to you. I'm not familiar enough with the app.
So in the condiment, it's, I wouldn't, probably not in the app, but
Okay.
the condiment list is in the links that I put in the chat. If you can
Okay.
find those links in the chat, they're in there.
Okay. All right. I was just glad I wasn't missing.
Yeah, you might be able to find them in the app. I think you can find them in the app, but I know they're for sure. I know they're in the chat.
Okay.
I'm gonna resend them in the chat and see if that does any better. Okay, and Lisa, I'm gonna try to go and tag you in the Weight Loss Wonders group too, on the post that talks about all the links.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, I'm gonna ask everybody on the phone to take yourself off mute for a second. Okay, Kristen, iPhone. I don't know who iPhone is, sorry. All right, iPhone's on.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, Kristen,
Yeah, I'm here.
are you on two? Or do I have two Kristen? Oh, hold on, it's not letting you. Okay, hold on. Oh, here, let's see this. I just asked you to unmute Kristen Russo. Okay, well, I don't, Kristen Russo, you can do it in the chat. All right, so what I always love to do at the end of these calls is you guys are taking huge steps to the next part of your health and to the next start of your journey. And it's pretty exciting. It's also probably terrifying. So we want to start off on an exciting note. So I am going to ask you, Liz and Derek, you ready to do this thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Kristen, iPhone, you ready to do this thing?
Yes, iPhone is ready.
All right, Lisa, you ready?
So ready.
So ready. Oh, that's the love I hear. All right, Kristen Russo in the chat. You ready? Hold on, I think she's typing.
I know.
All right. Well, we're assuming that Kristen Russo on the chat is ready too. You guys are amazing. And again, utilize your coaches, utilize those support groups. And I can't wait to be celebrating you all and continuing to know you as well. I'd say, Jody, are you ready too? But Jody's freaking killed it. And Jody's one of our coaches. So thank you, Jody, for helping today. And we will all be seeing you in just a little while as we celebrate you. So let's do this.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.